Why aren't we just calling this what this really is? Just an aesthetically pleasing version of hoarding. This restocking trend is all over TikTok and it's a sight to see. And I think there's actually a lot here to unpack that indicates where we are as a culture and even where we are as an economy. So this restocking organization trend is all about putting things in their respective places, taking products out of their original packaging and putting them in different, prettier packaging and making everything seem perfectly structured and organized. And of course, it's wrapped up in the ASMR trend, which in my opinion needs to die. I am so sick and tired of hearing the long fake nails tap against the bottles of everything. Can we just please stop this? But overall, the restocking trend it's perfectly indicative of a consumerist, a hyper-consumerist American culture that, quite frankly, most other countries look at us and mock us for it, and they just can't wrap their heads around it. This makes Americans look like silly little sheep, just stuck on this hamster wheel of buying things, throwing things away, buying more things, throwing them away, reorganizing, restocking. And Americans generally have a pretty bad habit of over-consuming and buying into fast fashion, fast purchases, fast brands, everything fast. And they just want everything arriving on their doorstep like today. This is a very American thing. They want things to arrive today as soon as possible. It's all about just fast purchasing. Temu, for example, launched in 2022 by a major Chinese e-commerce company. The platform has quickly gained popularity in the US due to its seemingly affordable offerings. However, it's faced a lot of controversy over concerns regarding product quality, potential violations of intellectual property rights, and the transparency of its supply chain practices. But look at all of these products that Temu is constantly promoting on their TikTok. Critics have also raised questions about consumer protection and the impact of its business practices on local businesses, echoing broader concerns about the influence of Chinese tech giants in global markets. But, regardless of what the criticism is, it's obvious that these items are insanely popular with consumers all over the world, especially American consumers. In 2023, consumers placed 412.3 million orders on Temu. And sales by each quarter in 2023 were quarter one, $855 million, quarter two, $2.7 billion, quarter three, $5.16 billion, and quarter four in 2023 was $6.62 billion. Okay, and then of course there's Amazon, where the net sales have increased 12% to $574.8 billion in 2023, compared with $514 billion in 2022. So these brands are just constantly trying to sell you these fast products, just all of these new shiny products. This restocking and organization obsession all over the internet is a huge moneymaker for these bloated companies. We are giving them billions and billions of dollars every year. And most of the influencers who are getting millions of views for doing restocking and organization and, reorganizing their bathroom drawer and how it's supposed to be so zen and pleasant to look at, pretty much all of these influencers have some kind of Amazon storefront and are making a commission off of all these products that they're doing videos with and they're promoting and they're listing on their link tree. They're making money off a lot of this stuff. Okay, I also have a theory that many people who grew up in a sort of tough financial environment are the ones who are positively obsessed with restocking, whether it's a hobby of theirs or whether they're influencers for restocking or whether they're just people who love to binge watch restocking online. I know it's this is just kind of I don't know, it's just what I think. It's almost like a trauma response. Their brains are just so desperate to know that there is enough and that they're not going to run out of it, whether it's food or bathroom supplies or toilet paper. I used to work with somebody who was very self-aware about this, and she didn't grow up with very much, and her family struggled when they were younger. And she said she still has this thing, she's very well off today, but she still has this thing in the back of her mind where she's we always need to have enough toilet paper. So even before, how during COVID people were hoarding toilet paper, she used to tell me that even before all that happened, she was that person who constantly hoarded toilet paper because it was almost, again, like a trauma response in the back of her mind. She was worried that there just wasn't going to be enough toilet paper in the house. And so that's kind of what I think of when I see all these restocking videos. I'm there must be something going on mentally with these people. They think that there's There's something in the back of their mind that tells them that they're not going to be okay unless there's an overabundance of stuff. And look, with the rates of mental illness and feelings of loneliness and isolation in our current culture, I think sadly, unfortunately, people turn to social media for visuals and trends like this that make them feel a little bit better, even if it's just temporary. It's almost like a dopamine hit, a high that will give them a temporary break from their daily mundane tasks and responsibilities. And I personally see this restocking habit trend almost like a fetish that is wrapped up in a pretty little faux bow of organization and order as all smoke and mirrors. And I know some of you are going to think I'm nuts for saying this, and you're going to be like, don't read into it so much. This has all really got me thinking about how all human beings want to find a sense of meaning in life. That's what we're designed for, to find some kind of meaning or fulfillment in our life. And even if we can't articulate it to ourselves or we're not totally conscious of this desire to find meaning, we are all designed, created to find meaning in our life. And unfortunately, with a lack of meaning in this hyper individualized culture, a hyper modernized world that has left so many of us more disconnected from each other than ever before, I think people, especially from their local community, we talk about disconnect a lot, especially from the people around you and even your family members. I think many people turn to consumerism because it's in your face everywhere you turn. And it's like almost like the easiest drug to take. And it's easier than ever to get lost in consumerism, especially when you are lacking some deep meaning in your life. And when I posted one of these restocking videos on my Instagram, there was a follower of mine, her handle is Free Range Mama. She responded with this, and I want to quote her because I think she summed it up really nicely. She said, "With the help of technology and fluoride, humanity has been dumbed down to being entertained by caveman-esque level of stupidity, repetitive, meaningless content, rather than actually accomplishing anything noteworthy in their own lives. Watch others accomplish, in quotes, meaningless tasks as long as they're aesthetic." And that's so true. This is all about the aesthetics of restocking. And so although there are many, many great things about capitalism, like if you followed my channel before, you know that I am very against anything remotely close to socialism. And I do believe, of course, that capitalism has a lot of great benefits for our society. But you know how I feel if you followed my channel before. Like, I, of course, do think that we need some restrictions on a lot of these bloated private companies, because hyper-capitalism, of course, has its downsides. And the sort of milquetoast, vanilla, like neocon take is that there shouldn't be any restrictions on private companies because it's a capitalist society. Well, I don't believe that, because and I digress. We could do an entire episode on this, but traditional conservatism is about the government promoting the good, which is not only about preserving your rights, but yes, making some regulations when necessary to protect society, to protect its citizens, and to prevent these hyper, I don't know what the word is, hyper modernized companies from becoming too bloated and preying on consumers. Again, I digress. I'm just saying that sometimes the peak of capitalism with no limits can suck the soul out of our culture and just add to this loud noise of disconnect that so many people are suffering from today. So all that aside, I just think that this is one of the reasons why people make an entire personality out of some type of consumerism. These people are not okay.
Amazon Stanley must-haves. This leak stopper comes in a set of 2 and keeps water from pouring out the top. Attach both pieces to the inside of the lid so you don't have to worry about spills next time your Stanley accidentally tips over. These nameplates are from a small business on Amazon and can be customized with up to 10 letters. They fit perfectly over the top of a lid and come in various sizes to fit different size tumblers. These straws are made of glass and have a unique shape that helps prevent wrinkles when you drink out of them. They come in a 2-pack with a...
Are you guys okay? Are you okay? This is soulless behavior. You guys need a hobby. Go learn a new language. I don't know, go volunteer, learn how to knit. Please, this is not normal. This is Stanley brain rot. But you see what I mean? This is people can make an entire personality out of some type of consumerism. And like I said, you can call me crazy, but I think a lot of this has to do with so many people are just lacking a sense of meaning and fulfillment in their lives. And the thing about these restocking videos too is that the sheer amount of plastic and landfill that you see, it should make us all feel a little bit icky.
Let's restock the guest bathroom. Skincare first, I'm putting it on this thing.
Oh my gosh.
This is going to be the shower bar. Sol de Janeiro. And Frenchie. I think that's how you say it. I don't know. Next shelf's going to have Olaplex. And Way. Last shelf is kind of random. Yeah, moving on. Found these stores for...
Like, I am certainly no climate alarmist, but I think we can all agree that the sheer amount of these single packed items, all of these individually packed things, whether it's food, snacks, or beauty products, whatever it is such a waste. It's such a waste, and it's all going to be in a landfill. It's all going to be thrown into an ocean. And yeah, I mean, I do think that we should be a little bit more environmentally conscious, and all of this plastic and stuff, it just kind of gives me the ick. Everything has to be individually packaged. It's just such a waste. Not to mention all of the endocrine disrupting chemicals that you are inhaling and putting into your skin, your largest organ, from the beauty products and the cleaning products. Like, nobody is talking about this. Oh my gosh. I think these are like laundry beads. Oh. Look at all the plastic. No. Inhaling all of these artificial fragrances and allowing your skin to absorb all these chemicals, even if they look cute. Oh my gosh, it's so blue. Yay, how adorable. This is going to disrupt your natural hormonal cycle, and it's going to have a terrible effect on your immunity, your fertility, your menstrual cycle, even your sex drive, so much more. And it's this hyper-consumerism. People are foregoing their own health in order to have like a cute aesthetic at home that belongs on TikTok and Instagram. Like, I'm not orthorexic by any means in saying that you should never ever use any fragrance at all, but just the sheer volume that these people are using, like if you're using these kind of endocrine disrupting chemicals every single day on a regular basis, that is going to have an effect on your health. And then, in my opinion, which is just as bad, is the level of absolute trash and junk food and ultra processed foods that these people are eating and putting in their videos.
Let's restock my pantries. First up are the candy dispensers. The candy in them is still good. My kids are just tired of it, so I'm taking what's left to my nieces and nephews. The new candy they picked to replace it with are these Nerds gummy clusters and some mini M&Ms. All the containers I'll be using can be found in my Amazon storefront. Up next are candy bars and then some donuts and cakes on Lazy Susans. This package from Takis came right in time for my restock. They recently launched a new flavor called Buck and Ranch, and I couldn't resist trying them right away.
Look, I've been a health and fitness coach for more than a decade. And for those of you who are not new to my channel, you know I do health coaching. It's one of my biggest passions. And you know that I'm not a purist about diet in any way. There's nothing wrong with enjoying yourself and having some treats now and then and enjoying dessert, enjoying some candy. I mean, look at how Europeans approach food, right? They don't diet. They don't restrict carbs. They don't not eat croissants. They don't not eat ice cream and gelato. And they're generally much healthier than we are. But it's the amount of ultra processed foods that Americans eat on a very regular basis that is 100% connected to the extreme rates of obesity, the high rates of chronic illness. 6 out of every 10 American adults struggle with one chronic illness. 4 out of every 10 American adults struggle with 2 or more chronic illnesses. And then the rates of extreme obesity are rising really rapidly. And the definition of extreme obesity is a BMI that's roughly 40 and a person who is roughly 100 pounds or more overweight. So when you think of all of these statistics and you think about how it's not only harming individuals, like these kind of eating patterns, especially giving that kind of candy and ultra processed food and snacks to kids on a regular basis from a very young age, it is going to have a massive impact not only on people's individual health, but it's going to be a huge cost and a huge burden on our healthcare system. It's going to affect the future of our country. And if you've visited my channel before, you know I don't do political correctness, okay? You know I believe that real compassion is inseparable from objective truth. And the truth is, it is extremely unhealthy for both adults and children to have your entire fridge and pantry stocked with this kind of ultra processed junk. We're talking about poor cognitive function, fertility issues due to all the endocrine disruptors and things like food dyes, red 40, metabolic issues, poor immune function, low sex drive, which obviously only applies to adults that we're talking about here. But then we talk about children who struggle with attention disorders and behavioral disorders from this kind of constant junk food that's in rotation in their life 24/7. And for example, like I even notice a difference in if my toddler goes to like a couple of birthday celebrations in one weekend and she has cake and some of the candy and stuff. You know, again, I'm not a purist. Like I let my toddler enjoy things when there is a celebration, but I notice a bit of a change in her behavior when she goes to a birthday party, has a little bit of cake, and the icing probably has some kind of food coloring in it. I'm not happy that she's eating it, but hey, every once in a while, it's okay. And she comes home and she just acts different. She's cranky and she doesn't listen as well. And this is what happens when kids eat junk food on a regular basis. And then imagine kids are eating like that 24/7. So I'm done pretending like this is normal, like it's okay, like it's fun and cutesy for people to fill up their kitchen with this kind of junk. It's not food, it's junk. And I know it's like in the name of TikTok aesthetics and Amazon storefronts and cheap dopamine hits, but I'm so sick and tired of acting like this is normal. This is one of the main reasons why so many Americans are struggling with their health. And I want to see people healthy and thriving. It's not about yelling or scolding or shaming someone. It's really about speaking what's true. And what's true is that these kinds of habits are slowly spiraling many Americans into a lifetime of chronic illness and premature unaliving. Look, I get that a lot of influencers build their whole platform on this. They have millions of followers and millions of views on stuff like this. And it's not about throwing any shade to any particular influencers. It's just because, I get that people like to see things clean and organized. And that's fine. Enjoying cleaning things and wanting to get things organized is fine. But in a time when our economy is suffering, millions of people are in major debt. Inflation rates are super high. We see a horrible housing market, even a bad job market, high gas prices, unaffordable groceries. I think the last thing that we should be doing is glamorizing and glorifying overconsumption. That's just my 2 cents. I think that the last thing we should do is encourage people to buy pointless things, everything in single serving containers, all of that plastic that's just going to end up in a landfill. It's so very American, and it doesn't have to be. It really doesn't have to be. So I would like to vote. Can I vote to please put a moratorium on the restocking videos? I know that underconsumption core is kind of a newly popular trend, and I might do a separate video on that because there's a lot to say about underconsumption core, and it's sort of a response to this crazy restocking nonsense. But at the end of the day, I don't think we need any kind of TikTok trend to help us make smart choices with our wallets and in our home. I think that there are a lot better choices that we can make that don't rely on TikTok trends. I just think that this restocking thing is indicative of a sick obsession with overconsumption and just the consumerist culture. And that how when people write consumer online, consumer with 2 O's, consumer. This is like consumer core, and it's not healthy for anybody. And you're just helping these bloated companies get richer and richer and richer. Like I, for one, I don't really want to see Temu get that much richer. I really don't. But they have done a really good job at taking over TikTok and a lot of these social media platforms and convincing people to buy these cheap things that are based on someone else's patent. So let's slow it down with the restocking videos maybe. And I think, how we always say vote with your dollar, you can also vote with your views. Like if you are sick of the restocking stuff, or if you're sick of something like mukbang, which is another thing, maybe I should do a video on mukbang. I am half Korean and it originated in South Korea, so maybe I should do a video on it. But if you don't like to see these trends, we can vote with our views and not hate watch them. And I've been guilty of this in the past. Sometimes you just watch something. You're like, this is so gross. I hate this. Ew, ew. But you keep watching it. You're voting with your view. And so if we don't want to see these trends take hold of people online, let's stop watching them maybe. And let's just be a little smarter. Like I said, again, I want to reiterate, you don't have to totally give up treats and sweets and desserts. No, but it's important to approach these things with a conscious mindset. Enjoy them in reasonable amounts. Don't stock your entire fridge and pantry with this ultra processed junk. Your body deserves better than that. Girlies, especially the girls out there, your body deserves way better than that. If you know you want to get pregnant one day, start thinking about your fertility now. If you just want to have a healthy menstrual cycle and look and feel your best, just limit the amount of ultra processed foods that you eat. That's all I'm saying. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Do you hate restocking as much as I do? Or maybe you like it. If you love it, tell me why. Let me know if you want me to do a video on underconsumption core, maybe mukbang. We'll see you in the next one. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye, everybody.